I'm Lauren Green, and you're in the Strategy Room. The Republican Party still appears divided over presumptive nominee Donald Trump, with new reports suggesting some conservatives are trying to draft a candidate to make an independent run for the White House. But RNC Chairman Reince Priebus says that's a bad idea. Take a listen.
They could try to hijack another party and get on the ballot, but look, it's a suicide mission for our country, because what it means is that you're throwing down not just 8 years of the White House, but potentially 100 years on the Supreme Court, and wrecking this country for many generations.
And joining me now with reaction are Democratic strategist Douglas Smith and Republican strategist Robert O'Brien. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
So, Robert, do you agree it would be a suicide mission? Who would Republicans try to put forward? I mean, is this a sort of a shot across the bow to any Republicans who are kind of like not getting behind Trump at this point?
Well, I think what Chairman Priebus is pointing out is, number one, procedurally, it's very hard for an independent candidate to get on the ballot in all 50 states and have a chance to, even if there's a movement for him to have it or her to have a chance to be elected. It's very difficult to do, just from a procedural standpoint. Number two, if you look at the last two candidates, third-party candidates that have made a difference, Ralph Nader in the 2000 election took a lot of votes away from Al Gore and helped ensure George W. Bush's election to his first term. And, of course, in 1992, Ross Perot took a lot of Republican votes and helped ensure Bill Clinton's first term. So I think what he's referring to is the fact that it's unlikely that a candidate could win, hence the reference to the suicide mission, and two, that it would probably have the effect, if the third-party candidate came from the GOP side, of taking votes away from Trump and ensuring a Clinton victory. So I think he's making a factually accurate statement.
Well, real quickly, though, I mean, Trump made it through, 16 or 17 other candidates to become the presumptive nominee. Who could the Republicans put forward, that hasn't been tried yet?
It's hard to say, and no one has stepped forward yet. You've heard talk about Ambassador John Bolton. You've heard Senator Ben Sasse. There are other names that are being floated out there, but so far it doesn't look like any significant candidate is interested in taking on a third-party run, and I'm not sure if it'll happen.
Douglas, we've got a similar situation kind of in the Democratic camp. Trump was urging Bernie Sanders to mount an independent run, and Sanders says he's not flattered by the suggestion, but he is there an option for voters, who dislike both Clinton and Trump.
I really don't think so. I think what we're going to see is, particularly on the Republican side, the one interesting thing I would say about the RNC chairman is perhaps what he's actually telegraphing is, rather than have Donald Trump sort of take the party down, if an independent were to jump in, perhaps that's their one savior in the fall, that they can then blame it on that and then wash their hands of this whole mess. I think on the Democratic side, I think Senator Sanders, look, he's put on a tremendous fight for this primary process. There's still a few more primaries left to see. By all accounts, it will be Secretary Clinton who was our nominee. And I think what we will see is Senator Sanders firmly standing behind her. I think it would just destroy all of his credibility if he were to, at this late hour, switch and run as an independent. So I think what we'll ultimately see is Secretary Clinton running against Donald Trump, and then who knows who else. As a Democrat, I highly encourage a contested side on the Republican side. I think it'd be great, particularly on some of the things that have been floated with him running as Governor Palin as his running mate, and other people jumping in the third-party race. I think it will make it pretty entertaining for the fall. For people like me on TV, it will definitely make it for some good comedy to talk about it.
Well, this is the year of the anti-establishment candidate, and Robert, what about the Libertarian Party? I mean, is the door open for them to sort of draft one of these Republican or Democrats?
No, that's a good point, Lauren, and it's the best chance that a third party has to get on a ballot is to go with a party that already has ballot access on the 50 states. So that would be the logical place to go. Hard to see the Libertarians going with Bernie Sanders, but I think Bernie Sanders, he is an independent. He's attracted hundreds of thousands and millions of voters in a really rigged system with the Democrat super delegates at their convention. And so, look, he would make a fantastic third-party candidate. I think he'd have a following with the millennials and the young people. Again, it's the same problem for the Democrats that a third party would have for the Republicans. I think Bernie Sanders running as an independent, he'd have a very, very strong showing. Many Democrats are unsatisfied with Secretary Clinton, and he could have the effect of throwing the election to a Republican. Heck, maybe you'd have 4 major candidates. Maybe Sanders and another Republican gets in. It could be a heck of an election. But I ultimately agree with Doug. I think this is going to be a Trump versus Clinton election at the end of the day.
All right. I want to thank you so much, Douglas and Robert, for being here. And for complete coverage of the 2016 election, go to foxnews.com. I'm Lauren Green, and thanks for watching.